The night stood perfectly still, as if time itself had paused to rest. The sky stretched endlessly above, filled with soft, glowing stars that shimmered like quiet thoughts drifting through a peaceful mind. The air was calm, cool, and gentle, holding a silence that felt comforting rather than empty. In a quiet corner of a small town, there lived a young woman named Sana. She was someone who often carried the weight of her thoughts quietly, never letting them show too much. By day, she moved through life with grace and calm, but at night, her mind would sometimes wander without direction. Tonight, sleep felt distant again. Sana lay on her bed, her eyes tracing the faint patterns on the ceiling. The room was still, wrapped in soft shadows, while the outside world rested under the glow of the moon. She turned to her side, closing her eyes, but her thoughts continued to move, slow but constant. After a few moments, she opened her eyes again. A quiet sigh escaped her lips. She sat up gently, her feet touching the cool floor. Something within her asked her to step outside, not out of restlessness, but out of a quiet need for calm. She walked toward the door and stepped into the night. The air greeted her softly. A light breeze brushed against her face, carrying a sense of stillness that felt almost welcoming. She began to walk slowly, without any destination in mind. The streets were empty. The world felt paused. As she walked further, she noticed something unusual ahead, a faint, glowing outline in the distance. It wasn't bright or sharp, but soft, almost like a shape made of light and silence. Curious, Sana followed it. With each step, the glow became clearer. It formed into a small, open space surrounded by nothing but quiet air. At its center, there was something simple yet strange. A perfectly still circle. Not made of stone, not made of light, but something in between. It shimmered faintly as if it existed just slightly beyond the ordinary world. Sana stepped closer. There was no sound, no movement, just stillness. She hesitated for a moment, then gently stepped inside the circle. The moment she entered, everything changed. The faint noise of her thoughts stopped. Not slowly, not fading, just stopped. It wasn't silence like before, this was deeper. A complete, gentle emptiness. She stood there, feeling something she hadn't felt in a long time. Nothing, no pressure, no questions, no need to think, to remember, or to understand, just stillness. At first, it felt unfamiliar, but not uncomfortable. Her breathing slowed on its own, her shoulders relaxed, even her heartbeat seemed softer, quieter. She slowly sat down at the center of the circle. The air around her felt calm, unmoving, like the world had paused just for her. There were no images, no memories, no passing thoughts, just a clear, open space within her mind. And in that emptiness there was peace. Not the kind of peace that comes from solving something, but the kind that comes when there is nothing to solve. Sana closed her eyes. She didn't try to meditate. She didn't try to sleep. She didn't try anything at all. She simply remained. Time passed, but it didn't feel like time. The night held her gently within that quiet space. The stars above continued to shine, but even they felt distant, soft, unimportant. Everything was still. Everything was enough. Her body became lighter, her breathing deeper. And within that empty calm, she felt something subtle, a quiet sense of being whole. Not because anything had been added, but because nothing was missing. She leaned forward slightly, then slowly lay down at the center of the circle. The ground beneath her felt soft and supportive. Her body sank into it gently. Her mind remained clear, empty, peaceful. Her eyelids grew heavy, not from tiredness, but from a deep, natural rest. And without any effort, without any thought, she drifted into sleep. The circle remained still, unchanging, holding that quiet emptiness within it. The night passed silently. And when the first light of dawn began to touch the sky, the circle slowly faded, blending back into the world as if it had never been there. When Sana opened her eyes, she found herself back in her room. The soft morning light filtered through the window. Everything looked normal, everything felt the same. And yet, something was different. Her mind was quiet, not empty in a strange way but clear, light, peaceful. She sat up slowly, taking a soft breath. There were no rushing thoughts waiting for her, no weight pressing down, just a gentle calm, a quiet center within her. And even though the circle was gone, that stillness remained.